3, 2, 1, and we're live. My name is Mavel Heimuli, and this is another episode of the Village Made podcast. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsor, C4 Designs, for keeping me fitted. C4 Designs is a clothing company on a mission to keep our beautiful Polynesian culture alive. Use code VMP15 at checkout to get 15% off at purchase. C4 Designs, DZYNZ. Today we have a special guest from the village, Tema Laussen. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I know you're busy with work and everything else, whatever is going on outside, but I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I guess let's just get straight into it. But I guess I just wanted to let you know, before all this, that it's an honor or a privilege to speak with you. All these people that I invite or that I ask to be on the podcast inspire me, and so your story, let's share it with the world also. So,
well, thank you, Mavel. Since our days in primary,
yes, serving
together, it's awesome.
Provo 10th Ward, shout out Provo 10.
It's awesome to see you doing this, and as shy as you were in primary, it's great to. I watched a few of your episodes and they're awesome. So congratulations.
At some point we gotta step out, right?
We do.
Of our comfort zone. So
you're right.
I guess just getting straight into it. What is the story of your full name? Who named you? I guess your family and your people.
So my full name is Tema Laussen. That's my first name, and I'm named after the doctor's daughter who delivered me. She was a good friend of my grandma's in Tahiti, and so I was born in Tahiti. And then my middle name, I have two middle names. They are Jessie, named after my great-grandmother in Tahiti, and then Tuiluai after my auntie Tui, whom you know, Vanisi. And then Hunkin is my maiden name, and I married Mike Lawson. And his name is from Germany, and the Hunkin name is from Cornwall, England. And all Polynesians or all Samoans that are Hunkins are related. We all descend from the same person.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you have a German and an English.
I know. But my Mike is a Siufanua from the Su'a family. So
nice. Cool. So you said you were born in Tahiti.
Yes.
So your mom is from Tahiti?
So she is.
Because your dad is Samoan, right?
He's Samoan. And she grew up in Tahiti, and I'm the oldest of 5 children. Okay. And Dad was in school. They were at Berkeley, and they had no money to prepare for my arrival. And so when I think she was 3 months pregnant, and they were like, what are we going to do? And she said, I should just go home to my parents because they can help us, financially. So I think when she was 3 months pregnant, she went to Tahiti, and my dad was still in school, and he came to Tahiti after I was born. So yeah. That's
cool. Yay. And I guess what villages is your dad from? And your mom?
My mom grew up in Pira in Tahiti, and my dad grew up in he was born in Vailoa, but his father was in the Fita Guard. Okay. And so
I saw you post about that this morning.
Yeah. And
that's cool. That's interesting.
Because of that, they moved to Hawaii, and that's why Dad went to Koku.
Oh,
so they also lived in Guam for a little while, but thanks to that's why they ended up there, and that's why Dad is a Red Raider for life. So
here we go.
But our roots, of course, are in Samoa and Vailoa, and my grandmother's from Aua. We have roots in Solo. So
nice. And what was childhood, or where were you raised? Were you raised in Tahiti as well?
So I wish, but no. We lived in DC till I was 7, and then we moved to American Samoa for my dad's job, and we lived there for 8 years, and then we moved back to DC, actually in the same house we lived in, or someone in his office moved into that very house. So we moved into the same area, which was great. So kind of all over, DC, then American Samoa, which was great, and then back to DC. So
cool. I guess for those who don't know, like your dad, can you talk a little bit about that and what he did in DC?
Yeah, so he was a public servant for 40 years. Sorry. And we just passed the 3-year mark since his passing, but so he worked on Capitol Hill, and then we moved to Samoa in 1980, and that's when he worked for the government. He was, I think, deputy attorney general, and then he served as lieutenant governor, and then he ran for Congress, and then that's why we went back to DC. And so he served in Congress for 26 years. So
Nice.
yeah, very. He lived a great and full life and loved serving our Samoan people and, all Pacific Island nations. So.
Dang, that's cool. Remind me of the UB40 album, Labor of Love, yeah? That's all it was for him, Labor of Love.
Totally.
So what was childhood like growing up for you? I guess in your DC and in,
I know.
I guess the different areas that you were...
Kind of unique, I guess. But,
Right.
it was just all we knew. I mean, typical household. Mom also worked. Mom worked for the airlines. And so that was kind of fun because we had travel benefits. We still do. We find our ways to still have those. She retired with the airlines, and then Dad traveled a lot. And so as the oldest, I tried to be really helpful. I wouldn't say I was the best example, but I tried to be really helpful with my younger brothers and sisters while my parents worked. And so, I don't know. We had a lot of fun. There are 5 of us. I'm the oldest of 5.
Right.
And
Are they all out here in Utah?
no,
Your siblings?
so I'm here, and then my brother, who's next? My sister Lai, she's married to Kolo Vaitulala, and they live in Sacramento, and they have 5 children. And then who's next? Lai, and then our brother Mana lives in Hawaii. He's in Kaneohe with his wife and 2 children, married to Malia Rivera. And then Vai Moana's next. Do you know my brother Vi? I don't know if you know.
I'm not sure.
So Vi lives in Salt Lake, and he's married. He and Jen have 3 kids together.
Okay.
And then Leon is the baby.
I know her,
Yeah,
but
you know
I
Leon.
don't know, yeah.
And she has 3 little ones and is expecting a 4th.
Crazy.
So, yeah. But Mom is here, and she lives in Provo.
Okay, gotcha. So growing up, I guess, what were some of the strong values within your culture that were taught to you in the home?
I would say gospel related, right? I mean, be a good person. I would say they're intertwined, right? The gospel and our cultures to respect others, respect our elders, love, of course, right? Unconditionally serve. When serve in the community, I don't know, but I guess because we were like the bigger ones in DC, right? I swear my mom had us helping people move all the time.
Yeah.
Right? We were like annoyed all the time, but she taught us valuable lessons, She taught us to visit the elderly. We always had certain elderly mentors in our lives, and she said, no, we're going to go visit them. They need a visit. And we learned from them, Grandma Eleanor and Auntie Myrtle and just Mr. Payne. These were elderly people that we learned to respect and learn from. And so I feel like we do that in our Polynesian cultures. We revere our elderly and respect them. And so, yeah, I guess service and love, and then, communication in the home. So I don't know. I guess what were some of your favorite foods, like culturally, like your Samoan or Tahitian? Oh man, shoot! My mom can make the best Tahitian poe ever, and then her poisson cru or oka raw fish, so good. We love all our Polynesian food, right? We try to make it. My sisters are probably better cooks than I, but. Super, super good.
Was it pretty easy getting that kind of food in DC?
No.
Or growing up?
No, but you know what? There's a Samoan community in DC, which
Talk about
was
that, yeah.
awesome. They were our saving grace. We lived in Samoa till I was 15. And so imagine leaving your best friends, the island that you love, on Christmas Day.
Wow.
With 30 boxes. My mom worked for the airlines, and so she shipped, we got 30 boxes on a flight. This is back then. We get to DC and it's snowing, and all we know is slippers and shorts, and so that was really hard. But we right away, thank goodness for the Samoan families in the DC area. We just loved associating with them. They were our family. We were the only Polynesians in our school, so it was unique. We would say, we're from Samoa, and they'd say, what? You're from Somalia? I'm like, no. And we always had to explain where Samoa was. We had to use Hawaii as a reference. You know where Hawaii is? Yeah, it's south, So it was fun. It was unique, though, and we loved sharing our culture with everyone. we would give lava lavas away, and our friends would be wearing them, and it was really fun. It was great though to live in Samoa and then to move to DC, which is a melting pot, such a diverse place. And so our best friends were Caucasian. They were just from all over. African American. We had Persian friends, Hispanic friends. I mean, it really opened our eyes, and we're just grateful that we came from strong cultures, and then we got to learn about others' cultures. So.
Yeah. So that Samoan population that was out there, were they there because of like servant work, like your dad as well, or do you know what they were there for?
Good question. They were in the military. A lot of them were in the military. They worked on Capitol Hill. I mean, great professionals. Many were in graduate school there. I mean, it was just really, really neat. And they're still there. I mean, the To'ia family, the Awilua family, we just love them, the Tassis, and we're still close to them. And so when my dad passed, I'm going to try not to. Anyway, they had a memorial service for him. And so we all went, and it was just a really, really good reunion with the friends that, we grew up with. And so there's a non-denominational church there, Samoan church there. And so we would go to our ward, and then we would go to their church. Yeah. And it was great. We were really, really blessed. We hungered to be around Polynesians, though, for sure. And so when we could drive, when we had our licenses, if we saw a car on the freeway and it had a Hawaii or any kind of Polynesian sticker, we would chase them down on the freeway. People thought we were crazy, but we just really hungered to be with our people, and so we loved it. It was great. It helped us really appreciate our culture, Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
That's interesting.
Keep getting emotional.
No worries, you're good. So I guess you said that you left when you were 15, on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And so I guess that's just right into like you finding your identity, huh?
Totally.
When you were younger. And then to move to DC and try to like reestablish yourself with your friends and stuff. Was that pretty tough, trying to find friends and finding or refining identity, or how was that?
We moved to Samoa when I was 7, and we didn't speak Samoan, right? And so we were trying to fit in there. Sometimes kids would tease us just because we spoke English. I mean, there was those bullying moments, but you just have to get used to that, right? Then when we moved to DC, it was like, wow, we're this Samoa Moni. We're so proud to be Samoan, and or Polynesian. We had mom's Tahitian side too. So, it was a really interesting contrast. If I didn't have my sister, who's just a year younger than I am, we are still BFFs. And if we didn't have each other, like if I was an only child, okay, I would have been like devastated. But thank goodness we had each other, our siblings, and so that helped us. That helped me tremendously. Yeah. And then, my younger siblings, they just found their way, and we always kept ties though with Hawaii, and thank goodness mom worked for the airlines.
Right,
so
those benefits.
We got to, in those days, they were carbon copy tickets, and we would just write in where we wanted to go. So we were super blessed because we still were able to travel to be with family, Yeah. So.
Oh man, I guess also growing up when you were younger, did you ever, maybe not so much younger, but I guess in certain situations, maybe even now, did you ever feel maybe too Samoan or maybe not Samoan enough? Or
so
Tahitian?
I've never felt too Samoan or too Tahitian, I mean, that's definitely I definitely have this humble pride and gratitude, because I have such rich heritages, I guess, with the two. Have I ever felt less? I mean, I don't speak the languages fluently, right? I can understand Samoan for the most part, and sometimes even French when we're with our family from Tahiti. So yeah, I mean, if I could speak those fluently, oh wow, that would be. It's one of those things I need to work on, right, during the quarantine. But yeah, I've never felt too. I've always felt not enough. Yeah. But there comes a time when you just have to be pleased with where you are in your life and just become a life learner. I mean, that's what we all are, right? Yep. I might be as old as I am, but I have so much more to learn about still who I am inside and out, and who the cultures and languages. I mean, yeah, we just have so much to learn.
Nice. I mean, I guess just going off of education, you're not talking about like learning, lifelong learning. You mentioned that your dad was, he went to Berkeley, and with education, was education important growing up for you guys? Was it taught to you?
It was. He's both my parents have college degrees, and then Dad was in the military too, and that helped pay for school. And so he got a law degree at the University of Houston, and then decided to do a master's of law, and that's when they went to Berkeley. And then I came along, and then they're like, okay, we have no money yet. Mom, go to Tahiti. So yeah, education was always important. I mean, my dad's, both my parents and their siblings, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they all have college degrees. And, you know, that was always important to my first cousins and me. And so, yeah. That's
pretty cool that your dad got his law degree.
I know. He was such a hard worker.
This was back in maybe 70s or 80s when he got it?
Yeah,
that's cool.
70s, yeah, in the 70s. And thanks for revealing when I was born. No. But,
My bad.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was. Wow, you're right. It was the 70s. And his sisters, I mean, they many of them have graduate degrees. I mean, it was definitely important. And he always said that education is the salvation of our people. And so it's really, really important.
Education is the salvation of our people. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I guess for you, education wise, how far did you go, or did you get your degrees as well?
Yeah. Ooh,
I guess you had to follow,
I barely made it.
They don't reveal that on your degree, so it's all good.
Oh my gosh. I always tell people, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But yeah, I went to BYU Hawaii.
Okay.
Yay, Seasiders. I served a mission, and then I went back to BYU Hawaii to basically redeem myself. So I graduated from there, and then I took a long, 13-year break. And then I got a master's degree, and that was,
nice.
I did an MBA at BYU, and that about killed me. So that is too long a break. If I were to do it over again, I would have practiced better study habits and not just cruise solo, during my undergrad. But yeah.
I think that just that 13-year layoff speaks for itself. You know what I mean? For you to go to school, and then maybe you thought it was behind you, school, and then all of a sudden be like, no, I'm gonna go back.
That was
so that speaks,
so
for you. So I think that's cool.
But you know what? Anyone can do it, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. After my last exam, I remember leaving that class and just pulling over and just crying because it was hard, and I'll never do it again. Oh my gosh. People are like, do you want to go on? Heck no. So, but you know what? I'm so proud of so many Pacific Islanders out there getting there, becoming doctors. And I mean, we can do anything. You can do it, right? And there are many entrepreneurs that don't have a formal education, and that's great. It doesn't, I just think we need to learn to do hard things and succeed at them, whatever it is.
We can do hard things.
And we can do hard things, yep.
I guess so. For you, what are some things as Polynesians we have to unlearn? I guess you just talked about what, lifelong learning and things that we need to learn. But what are some things, maybe as a culture, as a people, traditionally, what are some things that we have to unlearn?
I think it's in our nature to do things to mills, right? 1,000%. And I feel like that's a good quality because we care. But I also feel like food is kind of our biggest enemy too. I mean, so I don't even know, I don't want to offend people because I love food more than anything, right? But I also have diabetes in my family. I'm in and out of prediabetes. I mean, if we can unlearn that we don't have to have 5 meats at Kongai on Sunday, and it's okay to have a salad, even though that's for decoration.
Add some vegetables, salad.
But those are the cultural things that I worry about because we're struggling with our health, and we want to live longer lives and enjoy our lives and not have to go to dialysis. Those things can really affect our lives. And so I would say food, if we can kind of unlearn how to have a meal. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I just worry about our people and our health. That's why there's the direct correlation. And with diabetes and gout and heart problems, which are all in my family,
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, man, it's our love for food, and how can we change that? I don't have the answers because I'm just as guilty as the next person, but that's probably the biggest thing I think of, because I saw my father, he just worked. And so because of that, he just ate what was there. I mean, we went to 7-Eleven all the time because Dad had to get his 7 newspapers or 8 newspapers, and we had to get his, powdered covered donuts. And so we probably weren't good enough where we should have been trying to help him eat healthier, but that definitely affected him. So
nice.
Food.
I got that. Yeah, man. I guess just our relationship with food.
Yeah.
That's where we got to break the habit or the bond.
I know, but I am so happy when I see our Pacific Islanders that are like, they have their YouTube channels and they're actually trying to make a difference. They are. I'm so inspired when I see people that are losing weight or they're eating right. They have workouts, and I mean, I think that's so we're coming up, but I think our love for food is dangerous. So,
gotcha. You mentioned you went on a mission. Where'd you go on your mission to?
I served in Santa Rosa, California. Best mission.
What was that experience like for you?
It was. Oh, I loved it. In Northern California.
You speak a language?
No, I did English,
okay.
Which was good because I was still learning English. I had a lot of catching up to do. I didn't graduate from seminary, so I had to. The Lord knew I needed to catch up, and so it was great. Beautiful area in California, in Northern California, and I just loved being a missionary. My mission president lives here in Orem.
Nice.
Lloyd Gallons. His wife just passed away, but he's still alive, and I had 16 mission companions. It was awesome, and that was one of the best parts of my life, is serving the Lord.
Gotcha.
Full time. So.
Dang, that's cool.
I mean, we should be doing it full time every day, right?
Right.
In everything we say and do. But yeah.
And I guess it's just a new era now, huh? With the way church is going
goodness.
And everything.
This is like amazing. I cannot wait for General Conference this weekend.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
President Nelson was right? This will be the most unique, what did he say?
Yeah.
The most unique conference of them all, yeah. It's exciting.
It'll be interesting. And then I guess, like they said that the musical numbers will be like pre-recorded or something like that, and then
yes, I have friends
they'll just be in a regular room or just in a random room somewhere on Temple Square, and
really
it'll be
interesting. The world has changed.
Yeah.
In just 2 months. I mean, it's even in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's interesting. So.
And then just speaking of the quarantine, hopefully our relationship with food doesn't get even worse. Yeah.
It is worse. In our home, I think I've gained literally 15 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting how, I don't know why we're eating better than we did. I mean, I guess we're just home more and
more time to
we have more time to cook.
Food or,
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And sleep is terrible, right? Staying up late and
just the whole time schedule off.
It'll be interesting to see when things, hopefully COVID goes away very soon, but what will stick? What will remain the same? Will there be many more working remotely? It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Dang. That'll be interesting to see. For you, when you were growing up, do you remember what you wanted to be? What your dreams were, I guess, when you got older? What was that like when you were younger?
Yeah, I'm sure at one time I wanted to be a famous singer, an actress, who knows? But at first I wanted to be a teacher, and then I wanted to be a lawyer. So it's kind of changed.
Gotcha. And then for the work that you do now, did you ever see yourself being in real estate?
When I was a child, no,
yeah.
Not at all. Nope. In fact, my sister and I worked for a commercial real estate firm in DC after school, and that's when we were like, oh wow, this is a new world. That's awesome. And so we moved to Las Vegas, and both of us got our real estate licenses there. And then 3 years later, I moved to Utah. And so I came here to work for the LDS Church, raising money for scholarships for BYU Hawaii, but I couldn't give up real estate, so I got my license and then helped friends and family on the side. So I did that for 11 years, and anyway, I've had my license all that time, and now I think I've been back to full-time, I want to say 3.5, 4 years maybe. Okay. Yeah, I need to.
Do you miss what you did before?
I definitely miss the relationships. I mean, I built close relationships with the most giving people that I've ever met, and so I do miss talking to them every day, but I still keep close ties with some of them, so it's good.
And I guess for you, what was that point where you like wanted to get into this full-time, get into real estate full-time?
It's always been a passion. I've always loved it since starting in Vegas. I mean, I've always been interested, and I just wanted to help families, get into homes. And so I just did it while here working full-time. I just helped friends and family on this side, but it was kind of I don't know. It was time. I worked for a tech company, and I helped with them. I spearheaded their corporate foundation after working for LDS Philanthropies. And then when they had layoffs, I was in the second major layoff. And so, of course, they would cut the one helping give away the money. So it was actually a blessing in disguise. At first, it was scary because I remember going to UVU to look into their development office, but right when that happened, all of a sudden I was just flooded with clients, real estate clients, and so I kept telling the person at UVU, I can't work till like in August. I was like, I don't think I can work till January. I have to help all these families, and then that's of course they couldn't wait, and so that's when I just had to go full time, and it's been a blessing. So.
How's it been, I guess, for you being Polynesian in real estate? Are there many?
Yeah, it's so
real
awesome.
Estate agents?
We have a list of at least 100 Polynesians in the real estate industry, and that's kind of across the board. Many are in lending. There are several real estate agents who are awesome. We have, I think there's only like one or two in doing appraisal work. I'm still looking for a home inspector that's Polynesian, but several, and it's awesome to see them along the Wasatch Front, just doing their thing and succeeding and doing well. There's enough business for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just a couple weeks back, I had Harris.
Yes.
And so he's also a real estate
awesome.
agent. So
he's great. I'm so happy. I remember the day he got his license, we had a meeting with all the polys, and he was like, I just got my license. So yeah, he's killing it out there.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's cool. For I guess you mentioned that this is a passion for you. Did you find that passion young when you were younger, or how far back did you find this passion?
So our parents taught us to serve, and I feel like that's embedded in us, right? As Pacific Islanders, Polynesians, that is just something that I feel like comes second nature. So I don't know, a lot of times when I look at my job, my career, I don't look at it as, I'm doing this just for a paycheck. I'm helping families find a home, and they might be in a rush. They might have 40 days to get out of they have a rental that, so sometimes it just consumes my every minute and being, because we got to find them a home. We got to do this. It's work, and so, yes, it's great. Yes, it pays the bills, but more so, I love loving these families and, finding new friends. And I just love the community that I've built. And so I sometimes look at it as, when I have to work on Sunday, I'm like, okay, today it's ministering because we got to find them a house, So I guess the passion for serving others, that just our parents, my parents, that's all they did their whole lives was serve others. And so it's nice to be in a career where I'm helping families find their homes, or sell their homes. Yeah,
I guess then for you, is it worth it for those long hours and those early mornings because it's a passion, or do you find it difficult sometimes?
Oh, it's definitely difficult. It's so funny because so many people glorify owning your own business, or, oh, you can make all this money, and, they forget to mention that you can lose sleep. You're not your own boss, because my boss is every client that I have ever had and will have, because if they call me, I have to answer the phone, and so, but is it worth it? I mean, it's so worth it. And every time children see their bedrooms for the first time, that's when I say, all that stress made it. This is why I do it. It's for them, for the families, because seriously, sometimes the stress is not worth it. But when those kids are screaming, running in, then I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's why. So
that's cool, man. Do you have a lot of those stories or a lot of those moments where you just sit back and be like, that's so cool?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have to turn around and not show that I'm emotional, because but yeah, I mean, anytime there's little kids, and I try to encourage parents, let's not take the kids till we know for sure you're going to get the keys, because anything can happen before the day of closing. And so, yeah, I mean, every time children run in and they're so excited, it just, that is my prize, and that is why I do it. A lot of times realtors, they don't get paid what they're worth, because I can show homes for months and the person could change their mind. They could say, oh, and life changes, right? Things change, or circumstances they can't control. And so all the time that I had spent with that client, months of spending money on gas and, mileage, cost money, so sometimes by the time we're paid, man, that money was long spent, So, anyway, yeah, it's worth it though, when you have those beautiful families. My favorites are the first time home buyers, because they're just, I don't know, they're so trusting, and sometimes too trusting, where I'm like, okay, you guys, you have to read the documents you sign. Right. You got to make sure you know what you're signing. Yeah, because it's important. I mean, and they're liable, and I'm liable, and so yeah, that's what makes it worth it.
When times get busy, or when work schedule, when regular life gets busy, how do you manage stress, and how do you manage your time?
Not very well. My poor husband is so patient. I mean, he's used to me working till 2 a.m., and I'm not very good at that. I'll say that. I also think sometimes, everyone manages their schedule differently. There are definitely strategies to that, and I'm not the best, because real estate is, I always apologize to my clients, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you have to make the most important decision of your life, sometimes in 10 minutes, because if we don't write an offer now, there will be 10 other offers, right? The market it's a seller's market still, and it's rough. And so if I'm showing a home at night, I have to, and they like it and they want to write an offer, then I'm up till midnight, 1 o'clock writing it. Yeah. And they are too. So it's hard on them too, but the market kind of dictates, my life and my schedule. So it's hard when I travel, when we try to, sneak away, and sometimes I'll be like trying to manage transactions on the road, and that can be hard. But again, it's all worth it. So
because I know besides this real estate, you also have callings in church, so you kind of got busy with that.
Yes.
Are you young women's? Are you still young women's, or no?
So I'm serving in Young Women right now with Fairnay. So we are in the presidency together. She's the bomb. And Shaleda Mooney and Tina Childs. And we are just having a blast. And we love our young women. So yeah, in fact, tonight we're doing our Young Women activity over Zoom. So it'll be fun. We're adapting to the times. And so, yeah, it's great. I mean, I think I'm busy, and then I look at our awesome bishop who has a family. He's a bishop and a student and has a full-time job. I mean, so I look at others and I'm like, I'm
not as
I am. Who am
not
I?
As praised,
Come on. So
gotcha. So what are some lessons, I guess, that you've learned from taking losses, whether in business or in life or in your callings? What are some I guess.
Every loss is a lesson learned, right? And so even in real estate, I mean, I don't know everything, you know, I'm learning every day. And sometimes I make very expensive mistakes,
I'm sure.
and I will pay for
with
them.
real estate.
Yeah. And I always tell myself, okay, that just cost $1,000. I won't do that again, you know? So that's just how life is, right? And I think we just have to learn from those mistakes. We have to be patient, I guess, with ourselves and not tear ourselves down, but just allow those moments to make us better and not bitter. Because I think sometimes it's easy to become bitter, right? So for our mistakes and others. So.
Gotcha. For you, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, or whether in business or whether in your personal life? What does the next 10 years look like for you?
Hopefully more sleep. No. You know what? We have a family foundation named after my parents, and man, I just hope to one day have more time to work on the foundation. And so Mike and I actually, you know, we're getting so old now that we're like, hey, we got to plan what we're going to do. What are we going to do how can we be instruments, you know, in the Lord's hands? What can we do to be happy and to help those around us? And so we really want to build the foundation, and it's very small right now. We're working hard, but we want to raise funds to provide scholarships. We have a scholarship now in my dad's name at ASCC in American Samoa, so the community college there. Yeah. And you know, he went to Koku High School. We would love to have a scholarship there. So that's our goal, is to build that and do everything we can to, you know, help our Pacific Islanders, whether it's through that or. Yeah.
Do you guys have a website for that? We can throw it out there for people to visit, or
I wish we don't have a website because we are bubblegum.
Facebook.
We do have a Facebook group though. It's the Eni and Hina Faleo Mavaenga Foundation. Okay. Yeah. So
that'd be good for people to come.
Yeah, we would love for anyone to visit that Facebook group, you know. But we have 4 scholarship recipients that we awarded scholarships to last year, and then I think 3 this past year. So yeah, we're working hard.
Good for you guys.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We were gonna have a golf tournament. Dang it, we had just talked to Thanksgiving Point. Everything was about ready to have a golf tournament near my dad's birthday this August, and then COVID hit. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, that's what we hope to do over the next 10 years. But you know what? It's so interesting though. We really shouldn't wait to give, right? Yeah. I think sometimes Bill Gates actually said that one of his biggest regrets is that he didn't give along the way, right? And so I think sometimes a lot of people think, oh, I got to wait till I'm rich and I have all this money, then I'm going to give back to my community. No, we should do what we can now, because number one, tomorrow's never promised, right? And number 2, we can do things. We can give of our time now, our talents, treasure if we have it, you know, even our testimonies, right? I mean, whatever we can do, we shouldn't wait. And so that's why over the next 10 years and even today, we need to work harder at building the foundation.
That's cool.
So,
man, hopefully one day when we get big enough, we'll contribute.
You're already big. What you're doing right now is huge. And that's the power of technology, right? And the talents that you have and that, you know, your sister has to do this. I mean, that's what's spreading ideas. I mean, I watched one of your episodes, Afa, and I called him like, hey, I didn't even know I knew nothing about his company, and it was thanks to this podcast that I called him, and I'm like, hey, can you come give me a bid for this? And so now I'm hoping to try to send him business. You know, I feel like this is a great way for our Polynesian people to network and share and refer. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So.
And then together we rise, you know.
All boats rise with the tide. All boats rise.
Right. And then for the world, I guess in this, not only this trying time, but as Polynesian people, what do we have to offer the world? Or what can the world learn from us as Polynesians?
I know Polynesians, we know how to love hard, right? Sometimes to a fault, right? Where if you mess with my family, you know, right? There's that stereotype.
Yeah.
But I guess to love and love hard and be loyal, we're very loyal people. Man, if everyone loved and was loyal, we wouldn't have wars today, right? So I guess those are a couple of things we can learn from our people that I'm still learning too. So
right. I guess for you along the way, what were some of the challenges that you faced as a Polynesian in your maybe career or education, or maybe in life?
I think sometimes we're stereotyped to only be good enough to do a luau, and we've danced in many
right.
we actually did shows in DC and we loved it. It was super fun, but I don't know, we are excellent at entertainment. It's a natural thing for Polynesians, right? And we're great at it, and we can also be great as lawyers and doctors, and I just feel like there's no bounds, and so I feel like we can show the world that we can compete too. When I was in American Samoa, I had an English teacher. I was in high school, 15 years old, sophomore, and I remember that English teacher, who was not Samoan, she said, "Oh, you're moving to DC? Well, you have an A in my class. You might average a C or D when you get there."
Wow.
And I never forgot that she said that. So I majored in English, and I just felt like, wow, you really just undermined my abilities. And is it because I'm Polynesian? That's why you think that? What? So that's what I feel like we can offer the world, is we can do anything we want, just like everyone else, right? And there are opportunities out there.
So just, I guess, a quick story time with my sister.
Yes, please, I want to hear it.
So I mentioned that she had gone to Punahou.
Yes.
And the reason why she went to Punahou was because a teacher from Kohuku told her that she couldn't make it into Punahou. And so just the same kind of situation,
that just gave me goosebumps, but goosebumps of anger but haters motivate, right?
Right.
They do. And I think sometimes rather than respond with anger or violence
or negativity,
you just prove them wrong quietly and humbly.
With success,
and you show
kill them with success.
Yeah, kill them with success. And so, that teacher, when I was 15 years old, I don't think she really meant to hurt my feelings or to limit me. I think she was just thinking, oh, well, we're in American Samoa. She was actually probably speaking about the whole education system as saying a whole, that anyone that has an A in Samoa cannot compete in DC, right? And so that's sad, because I know several people in Samoa that nearly
have
aced the SAT from Samoa. Yeah, so I don't know. We learn as much as we can, right? And as much as we want. So regardless of where we live. So.
That's cool. Yeah. I guess to end this, but just to bring it to a close, I have some questions that I'll ask you. And then I guess just the first thing that comes to your mind. Go ahead and just share with us what that is, or whatever comes to your mind. For you, what takes up too much of your time?
Lately, Netflix binges. Oh my gosh, those series.
What are you watching?
Right now, nothing. But that's what I have. Because I don't watch a lot of TV. When I do, oh my gosh, it's like, everybody be quiet. I have to hear every single word. And if I miss a word, I got to rewind it. And poor Mike is rolling his eyes. So definitely I've spent too much time on that. Probably social media, of course. But yeah.
Gotcha. What do you wish you knew more about?
I wish I knew how to speak fluent French, Tahitian, and Samoan. But it's not too late to learn, so I need to.
What inspires you?
Just the success of others. When I see others are doing amazing things, I just feel like, man, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too. So.
What are some things you had to unlearn?
What did I have to? So I just picked up tennis again, and I had to unlearn the old ways that I learned, because tennis has changed a lot. So, Anyway, sorry.
That's cool. No, it's cool because isn't there the Australian girl? That Samoan girl that was in the Australian Open or something.
She's
I was
awesome.
like, hey, some more Polys are coming up. And,
there's a Heimuli playing for BYU.
Yeah.
Women's tennis.
That's she's my cousin.
She's so awesome. Oh my gosh. So so I love tennis, but man, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks because when I have a lesson, it's like trying to fix bad habits.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. So her dad played football at BYU.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I guess he just taught them tennis instead of,
awesome.
and other sports. So
I was at a court playing and he was with her next door.
Oh, nice.
And man, it was just awesome. She's a beast.
Yeah. So. What's your favorite book?
So I don't have a favorite book, but some girlfriends and I, we were like, let's just do a book club. So we just read The Speed of Trust by Stephen M.R. Covey. And then one book I also liked was Clayton Christensen wrote How Will You Measure Your Life? That was a good book. So no favorite.
I like that.
I like several.
If you could spend a day with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
My dad.
Yeah.
And his siblings. That would be a party.
Big jam session. I know he liked a lot of playing the guitar.
Yes.
That's cool. What is special about the place you grew up?
I would say exposure. Just living in DC and Samoa, I was just exposed to people from all walks of life, and so that really helped me appreciate, culture and respect others' cultures. So.
That helped probably make the world smaller for you, right?
Oh, totally.
Instead of thinking of like another place, that's so far away, or
totally, yes.
It's more relatable, I guess. Yep. What have you only recently formed an opinion about?
Recently formed an opinion. People say I'm very opinionated, but I'm really not. I don't know. I would say that this COVID-19, my opinion of it, and I don't know, and how the world will change. I'd say that one about COVID-19.
What's the luckiest things that's happened to you?
I think marrying Mike, because qualify that guy. He's so patient to live with someone like me. I always tell him, if I had to live with somebody exactly like me, we would have divorced the first day. So, yeah.
Shout out to Mike.
I know. Poor guy. Even my mom said that. My parents were like, are you sure, Mike? Are you sure you know what you're getting into? So.
What song you guarantee to make you dance?
Oh, old school. Anything old school, I would say Zapp and Roger, Do I Diddy.
I like that. That's cool. What are you most looking forward to in the next 10 years?
Just building the foundation and
if you could give what could you give a 40-minute presentation on with no preparation?
I would say all the mistakes I made in life, I could teach anyone how to avoid those.
What hobby would you get into if time and money weren't an issue?
So photography, everyone teases me. My friends that know me well, they know I have these like boxes of photos. And I just love pictures. So I would just love to travel the world with a camera and take pictures. So that and music. Nice. In fact, during these, I even FaceTime my brother. I'm like, hey, you got to teach me how to strum. So I'm going to learn how to play the guitar during these times.
When people come to you for help, what do they usually need help with?
Usually people ask me for phone numbers. I have a lot of phone numbers, and so everyone's like, hey, do you have so-and-so's phone number? So, yeah.
I'll be coming to you for that.
Hey, yes,
what is that lady, that girl from the Disney?
I got you.
Yeah, okay. What is something you think everyone should do at least once in their life?
I think we should all visit the land of our forefathers. So wherever you descend from, you need to go visit and meet your family and see where your parents or grandparents, came from.
I think that's where we get our mana. We talk about that mana. You get your mana from your land, from your people, your inheritance. You do. And once you figure that out, then, that's how you express yourself to the world.
You are absolutely right.
I like that.
Hey, we all have access to buddy passes, right? So there should be no excuses.
There's more than enough Polynesians working, or our
That's
families
right.
working in the airlines, you know?
So there really should be no excuse not to get home to wherever your motherland is. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Which of your scars has the best story behind it?
Oh man. I have stitches under my chin from Leala in Samoa. Oh, we mind you, we fly standby, right? But I have stitches right here. I don't know if you can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got into a car accident in Israel. Because we went to my second cousin's wedding in Israel, and I know the car that went to the airport. We had after dinner, we had a van go to the airport and a van go to the clubs, and the van that went to the airport got into the accident.
You would think
so yeah, the
the
van turned over, spun around 3 times. I mean, it was actually pretty scary. Wow. I know. So yeah, that was crazy.
Sheesh. What helps you live in the moment?
I want to say sometimes like just taking the moment and setting aside distractions, giving 100% to something. I feel like we all try to multitask and it doesn't really work. You really cannot multitask. And so, when I'm with family, I need to really be present and put away work or put away projects or whatever it is I'm doing. But I feel like that's truly living in the moment. So
Gotcha.
Just being present, I guess.
And if you could get back to your village, what would you do, or how would you go about doing that?
I hope I'm giving back now. Like honestly, with this foundation, I mean, we're trying to do that today. So really, it'd be great as we build this. We want to increase the number of scholarships at ASCC, and we actually have an endowment at BYU Hawaii right now. I'd love to build that endowment. Cool. We want to go to high school, maybe even my mom's school in Tahiti, Lycée Paul Gauguin. So we'd love to, basically do that. Just continue to give back and build that.
Okay. Well, thanks again for your time.
Oh, we survived.
This is another episode of the Village Made podcast, from my village to yours. Fa.